My beloved child, quiet your heart and listen as I remind you of something very sacred. Your body is not a temporary thing for you to treat carelessly, nor is it a lifeless vessel for you to use until it is exhausted, and only then become startled when it begins to crack. I formed you with mysterious wisdom, placed breath within you, and joined every heartbeat, every breath, every hidden movement inside you, like a secret symphony. The place where you dwell is not merely a structure of blood, bone, and breath. It is the place I have chosen to reveal my presence, where life is given as a gift, where you learn to worship me, not only with words, but also by caring for what I have entrusted to you. Therefore, when your body is tired, aching, weakened, unsettled, or speaking through small signs, do not be quick to dismiss it as something normal that must simply be endured. There are cries that do not become words, yet they are still gentle warnings I allow to sound, so that you may return to awareness. I do not want you to live like a stranger to your own body. There are days when you force yourself to keep going, though you are already drained within. When you ignore your weariness because you think resting is weakness. When you treat pain as an inconvenience that must be pushed aside. When you swallow your stress and continue smiling as though everything were still fine. But my child, resilience does not mean ignoring every cry that asks to be cared for. Devotion does not mean wearing yourself down until the lamp within you burns out. I am not pleased when you call exhaustion responsibility, nor do I want you to confuse self-neglect with a sacrifice that delights me. A temple built for holy presence must be preserved, kept pure, allowed to rest, nourished, and listened to with reverence. Sometimes the small signs you disregard are the very first bells I use to draw you away from an unbalanced way of living, a lingering pain, restless sleep, heavy breathing, fatigue that does not lift, an anxious heartbeat, a body that keeps straining in silence. All of these may be reminders that you were not created to live under unending pressure. I can awaken you in many ways, through the wisdom of a physician, through the reminder of a loved one, through limits your body cannot cross, through a weakness that forces you to stop and look again at the rhythm of your life. Do not take these things lightly. I do not always warn with a loud thunderclap. Many times I knock on the door of your life through a quiet sign, a repeated disturbance, a tiredness that can no longer be hidden. If you know how to listen, what seems troublesome may become a path leading you back to healing. Remember King Hezekiah of old, when illness drew near and a warning sounded in his life. He did not pretend to be strong, nor did he take that serious reminder lightly. He turned his face toward me, opened his heart in truth, and offered up his pain, his fear, and his longing to live. I heard, I had mercy, I granted him more days, and through that I revealed that life in my hand is not something neglected. That story speaks not only of a miracle, but also reminds you that when your body speaks, you need to return to me in humility, while also receiving the means I provide for restoration. I can heal through mysterious power, and I can also work through wise care, through proper medicine, through rest, through changes in lifestyle, through trained hands that help you recognize what must be done. Do not separate the spiritual from what is very practical. Sometimes obedience to me begins with sleeping enough, eating healthily, seeking help, and ceasing to harm yourself through a rhythm of life that lacks mercy. I know there are times when you feel guilty for taking care of yourself, as though setting aside time for recovery were selfish. But my child, how can you pour fresh water for others if your own vessel has already dried up and cracked? How can you walk far in your mission if you keep ignoring the signs that your feet need rest? How can you love with gentleness if you are always living in stress, without sleep, without peace, and without care? I did not call you to serve by destroying yourself. I call you to walk in wisdom, knowing that what I have entrusted to you needs a body cherished like a living sacrifice, pure and well guarded. Caring for your body does not draw you away from holiness. When done with gratitude, it is a form of honoring the one who gave you life. Therefore, when your body cries for help, do not cover your ears with busyness. When it needs rest, do not answer it with the whip of self-blame. When it hurts, do not merely accuse it of being weak. Ask me in stillness, Father, what do I need to see? What do I need to change? What burden do I need to lay down? Where do I need to seek help? I will not despise you because you have limits. Limits are not humiliation. They are loving fences reminding you that you are not the Almighty. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to recover. You are allowed to say that you need care. You are allowed to slow down so you do not lose the precious life I have placed within you. Do not let the world teach you that your worth lies in how much you can endure without complaint. In my eyes, you are not precious because you work yourself to exhaustion. You are precious because you are my child. I also want you to understand that bodily weakness is not always punishment, and you must not rush to condemn yourself when sickness comes near. Some things arise from the shared fragility of life, some from the passing of years, some from prolonged stress, and some require treatment through right understanding. I do not call you to use fear to explain every pain, but neither do I want you to live carelessly, as though the body had nothing to do with the spiritual life. Be watchful without panic. Care for yourself without obsession. Seek help when needed without shame. Pray, but also act. Trust me, but also use the wisdom I give. A mature child not only knows how to ask for a miracle, but also knows how to cooperate with grace. Through healthy choices each day, some restorations begin very small. A glass of water you drink with gratitude. A proper meal instead of forgetfulness, you're going to sleep at the right time. Stepping away from the noise to breathe deeply. Making an appointment with someone qualified. Deciding not to continue carrying what is beyond your strength. Do not despise these small things. In my kingdom, many great healings begin with one small step of obedience. When you respect your breathing, you are learning to respect the life I have given. When you listen to signs of disturbance, you are refusing to be careless with the temple I have placed within you. When you choose rest, instead of tormenting yourself, you are declaring that you are not a slave to pressure, but a beloved child permitted to live in order and peace. Beloved child, I am not silent when my temple slowly begins to collapse. I call you in many ways, not to frighten you, but to save you from indifference. I want you to value your body, not with pride, but with gratitude. Look at your hands as instruments of love. Look at your feet as means to walk into what is good. Look at your breath as a new gift given moment by moment. Look at your heart as a small drum, reminding you that you are still alive, still loved, still being guided. Do not wait until everything falls apart before you are willing to listen. Begin caring for yourself today, gently yet seriously, humbly yet full of hope. And if you are tired, in pain, or afraid because of the signs in your body, come to me first with honesty. I will not rebuke you for being anxious. I will place peace upon you, then lead you to the necessary steps. It may be rest, it may be change, it may be seeking someone who can help. It may be laying down a burden. It may be learning again how to live slowly, purely, and gratefully. I will walk with you through that process. I will teach you to love your body as a sacred gift, not worshiping it, yet not neglecting it either. Guard this temple, my child, for there I have placed life. Listen when it speaks, for sometimes that cry for help is the doorway into restoration. Let me lead you into a new rhythm of life, where care becomes a quiet act of worship, where health is seen through the eyes of gratitude, and where each breath reminds you that I am still near, still awakening you, still healing you, still calling you back to full life in me. My beloved child, do not be quick to see the things opposing you as signs that you have been defeated. There are collisions I allow to enter your life not to break you, but to awaken within you a deeper awareness, a purer vision, and a discernment that easy days of peace could never form. You may see a trial as a stone blocking the road, but I see it as a step. You may think those pressures are pushing you downward, but in my hand, those very things can become the place where I lift you higher, draw you closer to me, and make you more mature in holy understanding. Not every contrary wind comes to turn you back. Some winds cause roots to sink deeper into the soil, makes the trunk stronger, and teach the branches to stand upright beneath the wide sky. I know there are times when you are weary from facing opposition. Sharp words like thorns, schemes hidden behind smiles, and hands that seem to support you, but quietly pull you away from peace. I see it all, my child. Nothing is hidden before me. No whisper in the darkness escapes my hearing. But you need to understand that I do not allow these things to happen, so you may live in fear. I allow them to be exposed, so that falsehood can no longer control you. There are people, situations, and pressures that once manipulated you, because you did not yet recognize how they operated. But when my light shines upon them, you begin to see clearly. Not every sweet word is love, not every closeness is healthy, and not every open door leads to life. Such discernment is a gift, even when it comes through pain. Remember Daniel in the court of a foreign kingdom. He lived among great powers, among voices that wanted to shape him according to the order of the world, among laws raised up to test his faithfulness. There were those who could find no fault in him, so they used his very devotion to set a trap for him. They thought the lion's den would be the place where his life ended, that darkness and fang ones would swallow the righteous one. But I was there before he was thrown in. I caused the place that should have become a grave to become a platform where faithfulness was revealed. When morning came, people did not merely see that Daniel was still alive. They saw that my hand was stronger than the schemes of those who opposed him. Do you see? What others build to destroy, you can become the place where I make my keeping power shine. In the same way, the things testing you today do not have the authority to determine your ending. Those who want to make you fall may sow confusion, but they cannot take away the identity I have placed upon you. Those who want to manipulate you may build stories that make you doubt yourself, but they cannot erase the calling I have engraved upon your life. Circumstances may suffocate your breath for a moment, but they cannot stop the flow of grace I am quietly leading toward you. If you keep your eyes on the hands that oppose you, you will easily be drawn into a cycle of reaction, anger, fear, and self-defense. But if you keep your eyes fixed on me, you will begin to see everything from another horizon. You will no longer merely ask, "Who is hurting me?" but will learn to ask, "What are you teaching me through this place? What are you separating me from? What quality are you forming within me? Into what level of maturity are you leading me?" I do not want you to be naive about evil, but neither do I want evil to rule your mind. Being watchful does not mean suspecting everyone. Discernment does not mean closing your heart. It means bringing everything into my light before giving it permission to influence you. It means no longer allowing one compliment to lift you too high, nor one criticism to cast you into a deep pit. It means recognizing when someone uses your fear to control you, uses affection to bind you, or uses guilt to make you go against the peace I have placed in your heart. When you are near me, you will hear more clearly the gentle warning within, the voice that is not loud but sure, reminding you to pause before what is impure, to walk away from what drains you, and to stand firm before pressures that want to bend your conscience. Some enemies in your life are not always the people standing before you. Sometimes the enemy is the fear of being abandoned. Sometimes it is the need for recognition. Sometimes it is the habit of lowering yourself to keep acceptance. Sometimes it is an old memory that makes you believe you must please everyone in order to be loved. Others may take advantage of these things, but I will use the very trial to show you where you need healing. When a situation hurts you, I do not look only at the one who caused the pain. I also look at the part inside you that needs to be freed from dependence. I do not expose a wound to shame you, but to place my hand upon it. I do not reveal weakness to condemn you, but so that it no longer controls you in the dark. So do not resent every mountain on your path. Some mountains teach you how to climb higher. Do not curse every closed door. Some doors close, so you do not enter a place that would imprison you. Do not keep weeping over the hands that let go. Some hands release you, so you may recognize that my hand still holds you more securely than all others. I can turn a scheme into a lesson, opposition into a launching place, tears into wisdom, and misunderstood days into the place where you learn to stand firm without needing everyone's approval. What others use to make you smaller, I can use to enlarge you. What they thought would extinguish your light, I can use to make the light within you pure, no longer dependent on applause, no longer shaken by gossip. But you must keep your eyes on me. This is important, beloved child. When you look too long at those who oppose you, you will begin to take on the shape of the battle. When you look too long at injustice, your heart can easily grow hard. When you look too long at pain, you may forget that there is still one leading you out. Look up to me, not to deny what is happening, but so that what is happening does not swallow you. Be the center of you. Let me be the center of your vision. When I am your anchor, you will not be pulled back and forth by manipulation. When I am the highest voice, lies will lose their power. When I am the place where you seek affirmation, you will no longer be easily bought by a little attention, a little praise, or a small feeling of being needed. You do not need to fight with bitterness. You do not need to answer every false word. You do not need to prove your worth before those who only want to exhaust you. Some battles are won through holy silence. Some schemes are rendered powerless when you no longer react in the way they expect. Some chains fall off when you choose peace instead of being dragged into chaos. I will teach you when to speak, when to be silent, when to stand still, and when to walk away. I will place within you a steadiness that does not show off, a wisdom that is not proud, and a courage that is not noisy. You will no longer be easily led by external pressure, because my light within you will be guiding your way. One day you will look back and realize that the things that once made you tremble became a holy classroom for your growth. You will see that you no longer easily believe every mask, no longer panic at every withdrawal, and no longer allow anyone to use old pain to control your future. You will see that even those who wanted to harm you could not surpass my transforming power. They may throw stones, but I can use those stones to build a foundation. They may dig a pit, but I can turn that pit into the place where you encounter my protection. They may set a trap, but I can use that very trap to open your eyes, strengthen your steps, and lift you higher in wisdom. Therefore, my child, stand firm. Do not fear the trial as though it were the end. Do not let manipulation pull your eyes away from me. Do not let opposing voices make you forget the gentle yet powerful calling of the Father who is leading you. I am using even the things you do not understand to sharpen discernment within you. I am using opposition to train your endurance. I am using even the days that seem unfavorable to prepare you to enter deeper maturity. Keep your heart in the light. Keep your eyes on me. Continue walking with the peace of one who knows that no trial is outside my hand. No scheme is stronger than my good purpose. And no darkness can manipulate a child who has learned to anchor himself in my truth. My beloved child, listen to me with gentle watchfulness, for not everything that threatens you appears in a frightening form, and not every deception comes with a loud roar. There are dark things that do not arrive with a terrifying face, but with pleasant words, a reasonable appearance, and advice that seems wise while quietly pulling you away from the light. There are whispers that do not tell you to rebel immediately, but only gently plant within you a little doubt, a little pride, a little self-satisfaction, a little disregard for what is holy. And if you are not watchful, that small thing will slowly grow into of life, a habit, a thin veil, covering your eyes from the truth I have placed before you. I do not say this to frighten you, but so that you may discern. In your life there is always a hidden confrontation between light and darkness, between what is upright and what is false, between the voice calling you closer to me and the voice causing you to place yourself upon the throne of your own heart. Falsehood usually does not begin by inviting you to do something clearly evil. It often begins with a very gentle statement. This is not a problem. You deserve to decide everything for yourself. As long as you feel peaceful, that is enough. You do not need obedience. You only need your emotions to feel comfortable. But my child, not every pleasant feeling is true peace. There is a false calm that only lulls you to sleep, so you no longer recognize that you are slowly drifting away from the source of life. There is an outward harmony that inwardly trades away purity, obedience, reverence, and uprightness before me. Remember that the most cunning deception does not always deny me with words. Many times it still uses beautiful language, still clothes itself in a merciful appearance, still speaks of freedom, love, and healing, yet quietly cuts you off from the truth. It tells you to honor yourself until you no longer need correction. It tells you to listen to yourself until you no longer hear my voice. It tells you to protect your emotions until you begin to take holiness lightly. It tells you not to let anyone judge you, then causes you to close the door to every reminder that could save you from falling. You must understand this. My true love never indulges what would destroy you. My kindness never joins hands with darkness. My grace lifts you up, but it also leads you out of the paths that draw you away from me. Long ago, in the Garden of Eden, temptation did not come with the sound of war. It came with a question. It did not knock humanity down by force, but planted doubt in their hearts about my goodness. It made them see what was forbidden, as though it were a door to wisdom, making them suspect that I was withholding something good from them. Do you see? Falsehood often begins by distorting my image in your heart. It wants you to think that I am strict but not loving, that my commandments are chains rather than protective boundaries. that obedience is the loss of freedom, rather than the path leading to peace. But I have never set boundaries to steal life from you. I set boundaries because I know where the abyss lies, because I know what will break you, because I know which road looks wide, but ends in exhaustion. Therefore, do not take lightly the small movements within your heart. When a thought causes you to despise what is holy, stop. When a piece of advice makes you exalt yourself above the truth, stay alert. When a relationship gives you the feeling of being indulged, yet pulls you away from what is right, bring it before the light. When you hear a voice saying, "You do not need repentance, do not need change, do not need to walk in purity," recognize that it is not the voice of the Father who loves you. I do not condemn you in order to crush you, but neither do I call danger harmless. Just so you may feel comfortable for a moment, I love you enough to comfort you, and I love you enough to warn you. I hold you when you are weak, but I also take your hand and pull you away from the place that could cause you to lose the way home. There are shadows very skilled at pretending to be light. They speak of freedom, but the result is that you become bound by the self. They speak of peace, but the result is that you lose deep inner peace. They speak of love, but they cause you to tolerate what destroys you within. They speak of confidence, but in truth they feed pride. They speak of the right to live according to your own will, but they make you forget that you were not created to revolve around yourself, but to walk in holy communion with me. My child, what draws you away from truth does not always hurt at the beginning. Many times it is sweet as honey on the lips, but gradually leaves bitterness in the heart. Therefore, do not judge something only by its first feeling. Look at the fruit it produces. Does it make you more humble? Does it draw you closer to me? Does it make you love purity more? Does it help you love others while still keeping uprightness? Does it lead you into the light, or merely offer you a comfortable dark corner in which to hide? I want you to have a heart that is tender but not naive, gentle but not blind, generous but not willing to trade away the truth. There will be times when you must stand firm before familiar voices. Not everything familiar comes from me. Not everyone who speaks sweetly leads you to life. There are words of advice that sound caring, but actually sow compromise. There are soothing hands that keep you trapped in what is old. There are voices telling you to normalize what causes your heart to move away from the light. You need to learn the difference between comfort that comes from me and the lullaby that comes from darkness. My comfort lifts you up so you can walk the right path. The lullaby of darkness makes you sleep peacefully in a place you should have left. But do not despair when you realize that you once heard wrongly, trusted wrongly, or walked wrongly. I do not expose falsehood to shame you. I expose it to rescue you. When my light shines into a dark corner, it is not a sign that I reject you, but a sign that I am healing your vision. Do not run from illumination. Do not defend what I am showing you. Do not hurry to say, "I am still fine," when inside you already know that something is no longer pure. Let me teach you the courage to look directly, not so you may condemn yourself, but so you may be free. For only when you call the truth will you cease being deceived by the beautiful garments of falsehood. I am calling you back to original clarity, not childish naivety, but the purity of a heart that knows how to place me above every other voice. You do not need to chase every wisdom of this age if it leads you away from reverence for me. You do not need to prove that you are modern by taking lightly what is holy. You do not need to blend into everything just to be accepted. There is a holy difference I have placed upon your life. And that difference is not for you to be arrogant, but for you to be protected. You can love others without imitating their darkness. You can live in the world without letting the world write its laws upon your heart. You can listen to many voices, but only my voice has the right to lead your way. So be watchful with gentleness. Guard your heart like a garden entrusted to you by me. Do not let every strange seed fall in and grow into thorns. Do not believe every passing whisper to be truth. Bring every thought, every desire, every invitation before my light. Whatever comes from me will not fear the light. Whatever is good will not need to hide. Whatever belongs to truth will make you freer, purer, steadier, and more loving. But whatever only pretends to be peace while drawing you away from me, I will help you recognize and release it. My child, that invisible battle is real, but you do not fight alone. I do not place you among mixed voices and then abandon you to guess the way. I give you wisdom. I give you alertness. I give you the ability to recognize when something sounds beautiful but lacks the fragrance of holiness. Draw nearer to me each day, for the closer you are to the light, the more easily you will recognize darkness, no matter how subtly it is, clothed. Let my truth anchor you when the world changes its voice. Let my love soften your heart, but also let my holiness steady your steps. And when you hear whispers trying to pull you away from the upright path, remember that you belong to me. You do not need to bow before falsehood. You do not need to negotiate with darkness. You are called to walk in the light, and I, your merciful Father, will lead you until your heart clearly discerns which voice is the voice of life, and which voice only pretends to be peace.